This is the love chapter from Flash Wisdom, a curated collection of mind-blowing, perspective-changing quotes, edited by me, Russ Kick. This is from Rilke. For one human being to love another human being, that is perhaps the most difficult task that has been entrusted to us, the ultimate task, the final test and proof, the work for which all other work is merely preparation. From Frank O'Hara. I am the least difficult of men. All I want is boundless love. From Zelda Fitzgerald to F. Scott Fitzgerald. I don't want to live. I want to love first and live incidentally. From John Steinbeck. A kind of light spread out from her, and everything changed color, and the world opened out, and a day was good to awaken to, and there were no limits to anything, and the people of the world were good and handsome, and I was not afraid anymore. From Shakespeare in Love, written by Mark Norman and Tom Stoppard. Not the artful postures of love, but love that overthrows life, unbiddable, ungovernable, like a riot in the heart, and nothing to be done, come ruin or rapture. From Stendhal. Half, the most beautiful half of life, is hidden from him who has not loved passionately. From Aphra Behn. 1 hour of right-down love is worth an age of dully living on. From Stephen Herod Bunner. Measured with magnetic field meters, the electromagnetic field that the heart produces is some 5,000 times more powerful than that created by the brain. From Erica Zhang. Do you want me to tell you something really subversive? Love is everything it's cracked up to be. It really is worth fighting for, being brave for, risking everything for. And the trouble is, if you don't risk anything, you risk even more. From Bertrand Russell. Of all forms of caution, caution in love is perhaps the most fatal to true happiness. From D.H. Lawrence. Love is the flower of life, and blossoms unexpectedly and without law, and must be plucked where it is found, and enjoyed for the brief hour of its duration. Anton Chekhov. Perhaps the feelings that we experience when we are in love represent a normal state. Being in love shows a person who he should be. From Albert Camus. We always deceive ourselves twice about the people we love, first to their advantage, then to their disadvantage. From Minion McLaughlin. The hardest learned lesson, that people have only their kind of love to give, not our kind. From Tom Robbins. We waste time looking for the perfect lover instead of creating the perfect love. From Margaret Atwood. The Eskimo has 52 names for snow because it is important to them. There ought to be as many for love. From Diane Ackerman. Love requires the utmost vulnerability. We equip someone with freshly sharpened knives, strip naked, then invite him to stand close. What could be scarier? From Ernest Hemingway. If two people love each other, there can be no happy end to it. From Ursula K. Le Guin. Love doesn't just sit there like a stone. It has to be made like bread, remade all the time, made new. From Hafiz. I have fallen in love with someone who is hiding inside of you. From Stendhal. The greatest happiness love can offer is the first pressure of hands between you and your beloved. From Octavio Paz. If we are a metaphor of the universe, The human couple is the metaphor par excellence, the point of intersection of all forces and the seed of all forms. The couple is time recaptured, the return to the time before time. From E. E. Cummings, kisses are a better fate than wisdom. From Colette, is suffering so very serious? I have come to doubt it. It may be quite childish, a sort of undignified pastime. I'm referring to the kind of suffering a man inflicts on a woman or a woman on a man. It's extremely painful. I agree that it's hardly bearable, but I very much fear that this sort of pain deserves no consideration at all. It's no more worthy of respect than old age or illness. From Marty Rubin, one is never wounded by the love one gives, only by the love one expects. From Blaise Pascal, the heart has its reasons which reason knows nothing of. From Tennessee Williams, when so many are lonely as seem to be lonely, it would be inexcusably selfish to be lonely alone. From Erica Zhang, loving someone is a loss of freedom, but one doesn't think of it as a loss because one gains so much else. William Shakespeare, love sought is good, but given unsought is better. From Juna Barnes, suffering for love is how I have learned practically everything I know, love of grandmother up and on. George Sand, I say, I believe that one must love with all of one's being, or else live, come what may, a life of complete chastity. From Helen Schuckman, your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. From Tom Robbins, love is the ultimate outlaw. It just won't adhere to any rules. The most any of us can do is to sign on as its accomplice. From Gabriel Garcia Marquez, he was still too young to know that the heart's memory eliminates the bad and magnifies the good, and that thanks to this artifice we manage to endure the burden of the past. J. M. Barrie, let no one who loves be called altogether unhappy. Even love unreturned has its rainbow. From Alain de Botton, the best cure for unrequited love? Get to know them better. From Willa Cather, the heart of another is a dark forest, always, no matter how close it has been to one's own. We are not the same persons this year as last, nor are those we love. It is a happy chance if we, changing, continue to love a changed person. From Kierkegaard, perfect love means to love the one through whom one became unhappy. From St. Francis de Sales, you learn to speak by speaking, to study by studying, to run by running, to work by working. In just the same way, you learn to love by loving. From D. H. Lawrence, for my part, I prefer my heart to be broken. It is so lovely, dawn kaleidoscopic within the crack. From Catherine Ann Porter, marriage is a public declaration of a man and a woman that they have formed a secret alliance, with the intention to belong to and share with each other a mystical estate. Mystical exactly in the sense that the real experience cannot be communicated to others, nor explained even to oneself on rational grounds. From Charles Simmons, a person's character is but half formed till after wedlock. From Joseph Joubert, Only choose in marriage a woman whom you would choose as a friend if she were a man. Jill Bennett. Never marry a man who hates his mother, because he'll end up hating you. From Robert Anderson. In every marriage more than a week old, there are grounds for divorce. The trick is to find, and continue to find, grounds for marriage. From Judith Viorst. One advantage of marriage is that when you fall out of love with him, or he falls out of love with you, it keeps you together until you fall in again. From Richard Needham. You don't marry one person, you marry three. The person you think they are, the person they are, and the person they are going to become as the result of being married to you. From Rosamund Pilcher. Marriage isn't a love affair. It isn't even a honeymoon. It's a job, a long, hard job at which both partners have to work, harder than they've worked at anything in their lives before. From Edna Ferber. Wasn't marriage, like life, unstimulating and unprofitable, and somewhat empty when too well ordered and protected and guarded? Wasn't it finer, more splendid, more nourishing, when it was, like life itself, a mixture of the sordid and the magnificent, of mud and stars, of earth and flowers, of love and hate and laughter and tears and ugliness and beauty and hurt? From Ruth Bell Graham. A happy marriage is the union of two forgivers. From Sidney J. Harris. Many married couples separate because they quarrel incessantly, but just as many separate because they were never honest enough or courageous enough to quarrel when they should have. From Minion McLaughlin. If you made a list of reasons why any couple got married, and another list of the reasons for their divorce, you'd have a hell of a lot of overlapping. From Woody Allen. Love is the answer, but while you're waiting for the answer, sex raises some pretty good questions. From Catherine Mansfield. How idiotic civilization is. Why be given a body if you have to keep it shut up in a case like a rare, rare fiddle? From E. E. Cummings. I like my body when it is with your body. From Leonard Cohen. All parts of the body are erotogenic. From Wilhelm Reich. The pleasure of living and the pleasure of the orgasm are identical. From Alfred Kinsey. Only the human mind invents categories and tries to force facts into separated pigeonholes. The living world is a continuum in each and every one of its aspects. The sooner we learn this concerning human sexual behavior, the sooner we shall reach a sound understanding of the realities of sex. From Houston Smith. Sex is the divine in its most available epiphany. From Edmund Rostand. After all, what is a kiss? A vow made at closer range, a more precise promise, a confession that contains its own proof, a seal placed on a pact that has already been signed. It's a secret told to the mouth rather than to the ear. From Theodore Rothke. Ah, when she moved more ways than one. From Pablo Neruda. I want to do with you what spring does with the cherry trees. From Susie Bright. Natural is a very dangerous word to use about sexuality. Our society's notions of normality are completely fake and meta-trendy, since they rely on the changing standards of superstition, religion, Christianity, and gender bias to define themselves. Americans in particular exhibit very childish reactions to sexual practices that are new to them, much like little kids who are offered a vegetable they haven't seen before. That's disgusting. But darling, you haven't even tried it. I don't care. I hate it. I hate it. From Woody Allen. Is sex dirty? Only if it's done right. From James Joyce to Nora Barnacle Joyce. Tell me the smallest things about yourself, so long as they are obscene and secret and filthy. From Cynthia Heimel. You must acknowledge deep in your heart of hearts that people are supposed to fuck. It is our main purpose in life, and all those other activities, playing the trumpet, vacuuming carpets, reading mystery novels, eating chocolate mousse, are just ways of passing the time until you can fuck again. From Anatole France. Of all the sexual aberrations, chastity is the strangest. From Shirley MacLaine. Sex is hardly ever just about sex. From Harlan Ellison. Love ain't nothing but sex misspelled. From D.H. Lawrence. Doing dirt on sex, it is the crime of our times, because what we need is tenderness towards the body, towards sex. We need tender-hearted fucking. From Rilke. Perhaps everything terrible is in its deepest being something that needs our love. From Saint Teresa of Avila. The important thing is not to think much, but to love much, and so to do what best awakens us to love. From Vincent van Gogh. The more I think it over, the more I feel that there is nothing more truly artistic than to love people. From Emily Dickinson. That love is all there is all we know of love.